Raise your hands, Jelena shippers. Jelena was probably once a part of our lives as elementary, high schoolers, college students, and even the working class. We've all probably heard of that ship name more than once in our lives. Justin's marriage is the end of an era, Jelena, or so we thought. Being two successful music superstars, Justin and Selena, who met back in 2009, were involved in a widely famous romantic relationship. Of course, after being friends, and not just any friends, they were best of friends. They treasured each other like there was no tomorrow, constantly praising each other on interviews and even on social media. This was the start of their decade-long relationship. It started young and went on for several years. Not very many, especially in the industry they are in, get into relationships in teenage years and last very long. Aside from Jelena, the other example is the relationship of Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens, who both starred in the hit TV series High School Musical. Both Zac and Vanessa at the time were at the prime of their teenage years, like how Justin and Selena were. Although a lot of the public thinks these publicized teenage romances wouldn't age well for the artists, it most certainly didn't stop the couple. They couldn't care less about the paparazzi that were hovering around them on dates. If not for camera flashes, the couple would have outright ignored them. Well, they were once a strong couple, a couple that everyone loved, a couple that you would have the wish to have in your teenage years, but not knowing at that time, we, fortunately, didn't get to experience the trauma and heartbreak. But with the bad times, there were still good memories, romantic experiences even people in their late 30s haven't experienced, like how Justin rented an entire stadium for the couple's intimate dinner date. The power couple, Hailey Baldwin and Justin Bieber, have been happily married for almost 3 years now. The married couple started when Justin met Hailey in church when he broke up with singer-actress Selena Gomez, and long story short, ended up marrying Hailey. They got engaged in July 2018 and tied the knot quietly on September 13, 2018 in a New York City courthouse, and being their Christian selves, remarried the following year on September 30, 2019 in a religious ceremony. Both were already well known by the media before getting married, but even 3 years later, their marriage and history with Selena Gomez continue to be a crowd favorite topic. Well, of course, Justin found true love with Hailey. Their relationship had little to no issues, and it wouldn't matter how many times you marry or even if you don't marry that person at all, as long as both you know that you're madly in love with each other. Date nights and public display of affection are what the Biebers do best, thus their nickname, the PDA couple. And for the people who doubt their genuine love, well, not a chance. But with fans pitting the two against each other, are both Hailey and Selena okay continuing like this? Well, that's what we're going to find out here. Selena may be going on her independent road now, especially with her new cosmetic company, but that doesn't mean the love she and Justin shared would be forgotten so easily. Well, who forgets their first loves? Probably no one. Literally no one would forget about the memories and all the firsts they had with their first love. Justin was probably not Selena's first, and Selena probably also wasn't Justin's first, but surely they did a lot of firsts together. Selena and Hailey, as people who would meet often in the industry, what do they think of each other? Hailey as a professional model and Selena as a successful singer-actress, both are highly respected by people, but do they respect each other? According to an insider, Hailey respects Selena as an artist and thinks that she's very talented. But Selena has been distancing herself. Why? Of course, it's because Justin is married to a beautiful supermodel. Being in contact with your ex when you're married is probably one of the worst things to do when it comes to marriage. Of course, Selena would assume that Hailey would appreciate her keeping her distance, especially with the public's eye always onto the former Jelena couple. But what can she do if Justin himself makes the first move and opens up to her? As for Selena, she doesn't mind being a shoulder to cry on, but she never intends to be a homewrecker, especially if it's one of her exes. She has moved on from her relationship with Justin and is now living her life the way she wants it to be, away from the married couple. We can't deny the friendship that Justin and Selena had, or once had. Aside from being lovers, the two still had a history of being friends. Because of said friendship, even Justin's mother considers Selena as a precious person to her. Of course, the definition of a best friend is someone you can lean on when you're facing one of your biggest problems, a shoulder to cry on, probably someone who you can borrow money from whenever you're out of it, someone you can call when you're drunk, someone who's going to save your life when you encounter depression. But between Selena and Justin, they have been on and off friends to lovers and friends again. So does this fit the definition of best friends? We don't think so. If you were Hailey and you'd find out that your husband was complaining about you to his ex-lover, his world-famous and beautiful ex-lover, what would you do? If someone else were to be in Hailey's shoes, they'd probably visit Selena at her home and pull her hair around for about 3 hours, while others would have left home or send in the divorce papers right away. But some, like Hailey, dismissed this and moved on with their marriage. On Justin and Selena's side, Justin probably trusts Selena so much that even after they broke up, he still rings up Selena. In an online interview last year, Justin confessed that Selena will always have a special place in his heart. "I love and loved Selena. She will always have a special place in my heart, but I am head over heels in love with my wife, and she is absolutely the best thing that has ever happened to me, period," Justin explained. But multiple people say that there are things you can never express to people, no matter how close, unless they are the ones you truly love. Well, let's see, with Justin and Selena, recently, Justin called Selena and complained how Hailey is overly obsessed with religion, how Hailey is too into Christianity. Selena understands that Justin never stopped loving her, until now as friends at least. Selena doesn't mind being a shoulder to cry on, but doesn't want it to get back to Hailey. She knows how much that would hurt. Selena is kind, and the last thing she would ever want would be to be part of the trouble in their relationship. She has moved on, an insider said. "We should probably leave them alone now, right? If we have privacy rights, so should they." How meaningful would it be to have songs dedicated to you by a famous singer? For Selena and Justin, who spent their youth together, Justin has dedicated many songs for her until now. For talented singers like them, it's their job to write songs about their life. But having one of them sing a song for specifically you? Every hopeless romantic's dream. From the happy and joyous moments to the days they fought and misunderstood each other, and in the end, their breakups. Songs such as Sorry, What Do You Mean, and Purpose were all dedicated to his ex-lover Selena. After splitting for good in March 2018, their romance made headlines again with Selena's new album, Rare. The album's first single, Lose You to Love Me, was rumored to be written about their on and off relationship before calling it quits, as well as the news of Justin marrying Hailey in the same year. In March early this year, Justin released a new song, Ghost, which was again rumored to be written for his old lover Selena. If you're saying it's not about Selena at all, well, you better listen to the song again. "I miss you more than life," Justin wrote in his song. It would be impossible if he wrote that for Hailey, right? When they'd be together at every moment of every day, it would be impossible. Even if he did dedicate it to Selena, he wouldn't need to explain. Both his fans and Selena's, even their shippers, would directly know the meaning behind the song. I think that a lot of people in this day and age, in this time, are losing loved ones due to this crazy virus, but there's a lot of people who lose people from other things, and losing people might not always be like death. So with a decade-long attachment, breaking up must have felt like a loss, almost like you're grieving that person, so this song is kind of like that vibe of grieving that person, but still having hope in the process, the Changes singer said in an interview with Ellen DeGeneres. What did you think about that, guys? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section provided below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell button. See you next time!